Did you know PSA grades these? I didn't. Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I am Uncle Frank and I hope that you are having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about formats. And when I say formats, I mean regardless of card game. You see, when discussing card game metas, formats, and the different ways tournaments should be handled, it's often said by a lot of people that the companies that make these various TCGs are not all that great at managing the tournament play of these TCGs. Now, for a good example, you need look no further than how Wizards of the Coast has handled its pro scene for the last 6 years. I don't know. When did they run that "The World Will Know Your Name" ad? That was a while back, right? Now, I myself am a firm believer of the rhetoric that most card game companies don't always know exactly what they're doing with their game's respective metas. And that's why I believe so firmly in the idea of community-managed formats. And there's a few reasons for that, not just the idea that a company is bad at handling their own property, but it's more than that. You see, a lot of official tournament formats, for example, Standard, Modern, and Magic, and the only Standard format that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Have, are very, very prone to being kind of shaken up by a new set release. They can be overturned, all kinds of crazy upheavals can happen, just because a handful of new cards in the newest set just completely wiped the floor with whatever came out before. Power creep is an absolute beast and can really mess with the meta. And it's not just power creep that can ruin your player's day. The rules themselves of the card game can shift. Tournament rules can change, and they have changed frequently over the last 30 years of Magic's history, for instance. Ban lists can happen, like we saw recently with the Commander ban list, which will make some players absolutely upset and make them want to leave the game. And sometimes these changes are for the better, and sometimes they aren't. And it's difficult for a company to get it right. And I'm not necessarily saying that the players are better at managing the card game tournament structure than the companies that print them, but I am saying that when it comes to giving the players what they want, players tend to do a better job. And as I said before, this is agnostic of any card game. I don't think any card game company is perfect, which is why I believe so strongly that the community should, whenever they feel necessary, kind of create what they will enjoy the most. And for Magic, we have a bunch of community formats. There's Commander, which is a community-run format that's definitely not associated with Wizards of the Coast at all. But then there's also things like Old School 93, 94. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has its Time Wizard formats like Edison and GOAT, and Pokemon has its throwback formats like the Base to Jungle format, which is disgustingly fun, crazy fun. I got a buddy of mine, he's got a bunch of decks for that. That is a really fun format to play. I'm not even gonna lie. Each of these throwback formats, regardless of the game they're in, introduces a different card pool, different rules, different ways of managing the tournaments, and they tend to be really fun experiences, giving players different ways to build their decks, different cards to seek after and collect, as well as, for a lot of them, just give players a peek into the past of their respective card games. Like, there's a whole generation of Pokemon fans right now who have never played with those older cards, and I can tell you, they absolutely love playing Base to Jungle and stuff like that. It's crazy. The real benefit that these throwback and player-managed formats provides is that they insulate the player base from a lot of the worst decisions made by card game companies. Now, I'm not saying that every decision made by a company in regards to its card game is bad. That's not what I'm trying to argue here. But I am saying that when the decisions they make are bad, the players should feel like they still have the option to continue playing the game, even if it isn't the tournament format officially supported by the company. You know, there are hundreds of Magic players over the last few days who have felt like they don't want to play Commander anymore. And like it or not, Commander is kind of the bread and butter of Magic these days. Every set's designed around it. A bunch of products are put out for it, and every game store ever has Commander supported play. So when players feel like they can't play Commander anymore, a lot of them just kind of default to wanting to leave the game. But that's not the only choice they have. There is pre-modern. There is old school 93 and 84. These formats that are not managed by Wizards at all. I think Penny Dreadful is another one. They're not managed by Wizards at all, and they give you an opportunity to enjoy the game from a new angle that also just has the benefit of not having any direct involvement from Wizards, which is always a bonus insofar as I'm concerned. When a new Yu-Gi-Oh set comes out and 3 cards from that set completely upheave the entire format, creating a new Tier 0 deck, you can bet your dollars that Yu-Gi-Oh players have a fun alternative to turn to in GOAT and Edison formats, as well as some other throwback formats. But GOAT and Edison are the 2 that I like the most, so I'll use those as my examples. Pokemon players, I don't really think that there's been a lot of crazy chaos with the Pokemon TCG, but if something were to happen, there are retro formats they can always turn to. Ruby Sapphire format, Neo Genesis, well, that would be expensive. You get what I'm saying, though. Now, this is not a call to arms or anything like that to get everybody to quit playing the normal decks they're used to and hop over to a side format. Side formats, community-run formats, are exactly that. They are side formats for most people. They're a different way to play the game when the primary way doesn't work anymore. When you're not really sure you want to play Modern or Commander anymore, you can jump to a different format. When you're not sure you want to play with Modern Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you can jump to another format. And all I'm saying is, if you are someone who enjoys playing these major card games, look into the alternate formats. Look into the community formats and consider picking up a deck, because I almost guarantee that you will have a good time playing some of these older formats, some of these retro throwback formats. And even if you don't like them, at least you tried, and that's what counts, right? Anywho, that's really all I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And remember, for every like this video receives, I will be doing 1 push-up in the following video. So look forward to that. See you guys later. I'm recording this video at the same time as I recorded my previous video, so I guess I'll count both of these 2 together for whatever I record next. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. It probably will.